Don't forget there's some great seats down the front. I don't spit when I talk. Anyone? Oh, there we go. Ian's got the first front seat. Yeah, you're right on the joint bit there.
Comfy seats as well. Yep. As long as you get in the right place. Yeah, well, get over top.
Cool, there's some seats around the table at the back if you need some more. Yeah, please don't kick over the glass, please. Can I, not mentioning any names, please, everyone be careful with your drinks. I know everyone likes to put them on the ground, and I just bought this new Bright Night rug, and that just makes me really nervous.
It's very slippery.
And it's a very slippery rug, so please be careful with the orange rug.
That rug is going to carry enough stag to bite back.
I know, there'll be like a charge. I went through a lot of hell to get this bright orange rug, and even though it's slippery, I'm going to keep it.
It's very Dutch.
So if you can just watch your glasses. We've had a few breakages over the last couple of weeks, and as much as I don't care about the glass and blah, 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 but there is glass on the ground, and then Oscar walks through, and I'm just worried about him getting a bit of glass in his paws. So if you can just be careful with that, that would be awesome. All right. My name is Kev Howlett, and I'm the owner of Busybird Publishing. Les, my publications manager, will be your MC soon. I'd just like to welcome you all here on this cold winter's evening. And first of all, I don't have much to say, apart from our door prize tonight is a collection of orange, smelly, nice things. So hopefully someone will win that. And I'd also like to start before we go anywhere. Is Shell around somewhere? Shell, can you come down here, please? Yes, please. Come on. Shell's in trouble. No. We'd just like to acknowledge Shell is a vital part of our business and our friendship and our community. And we would like to say happy birthday for Sunday for Shell. So can we all... happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shell. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hooray, hip, hooray, hip, hooray. There you go. And we have had a lot of people sign your card for you today.
That's so thoughtful. Thank you, everyone.
That's all right. And this is... Shell, before you go. This cake is for all of us, please. So when you finish here, we'll put it up on the table with the snacks. There's a knife somewhere. Please cut it. Have a piece before you leave, because I don't want to eat it tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you,
Shell.
everyone.
Okay, welcome to Open Mic number 113. We're nearly at 200, so we're getting there. And I'll pass you over tonight to our MC, Mr. Les Zigomanis.
Hey everybody, welcome to Busybird's Open Mic Night 113. In case you're not aware of the way we do things, the way you put your name down on the door is not the order that we call things. We do mix it up so we don't sort of get a clump of poetry and a clump of short story or whatever the case. Shell. She fainted. Is your name on the list? Are you going to read? You are. Did you put your name on the list? Okay. She's shaking her head. All right, I'll put it on for you. So you get 4 minutes. At 3 minutes 30, you'll hear... Geez, that was pretty loud. That's means you got 30 seconds left, and at 4 minutes you'll get Now, that doesn't mean you have to stop right then and there. Feel free to finish the sentence, the paragraph, the concept, but please don't keep going on like, you got 4 more pages and you want to just push through it. It's a little bit unfair to the people who are adhering to the time. And at 4 minutes 30, you will hear... And that sounds really rude, but Carly's almost sociopathic on that bell, so she doesn't really care. She takes joy in talking about this tomorrow. So, please adhere to the time. I'll let Shell eat whatever she's eating. I was going to call you up, Shell. Let us start with Anne Finley. You want to do a talk? You've just finished a book about bullying, and you're going to talk about all your books?
Yeah, I wanted to see how everyone else did it.
All right, do you want me to call you second?
That's fine.
Okay. What if you do it like so totally different, and then the next 12, 15 readers all do it so different, you're going, screw Les for calling me so early.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to wait?
Oh, it's all right. Get it over with.
All right. So everyone please welcome Ian.
I am not going to do a reading. The last time I did something like this, it didn't work out too well. I thought I did all right, but afterwards this lovely elderly lady came up to me afterwards and she looked at me rather firmly and she put out her hand and said, "Glad it's over." I thought, I didn't know what to say. Anyway, so I didn't want to be rude to the lady or say that she was being rude, so I just said, well, next time I'll have to prepare better. Then she started laughing and then laughed and laughed and laughed and couldn't talk. You know, when somebody laughs and laughs, and I'm starting to go red. I said, she not only insults me, now I'm a brunt of a joke and I didn't even know what's going on. She said, no, Gladys Over. That's my name, Gladys Over. Anyway, I'm the author of 4 books, only 3 through Busybird. My first one is a book of jokes. This came about through COVID. I had, at that stage, 8 grandchildren. Don't clap. And now I've got 9. Still don't clap. And I started sending a joke every day to my grandkids as a message. And after 2 years, I had something like 850 jokes. So I decided I'd put it into a book and give them each a copy. Doesn't sell many, but it sells a few. That's my first book, through Busybird. My very first book was a book on bullying. I bought a copy along. This was actually published by ACER, and it's done quite well. It's gone international, been transposed into German and other languages. But it was written for schools, how to deal with bullies. I was a chaplain in schools. I was also a teacher before that, and I worked a lot in a pastoral counselling role with young people, both who were bullied and those who were being bullied. And this was written to schools on how to deal with or change the behaviour of those children who were actually bullying. And that came after a lot of years of study and research of why people bully, why this person is bullied and that person isn't, and things like that. So I brought that along to explain my recent book, which has only been out for 4 weeks. When I retired, I remembered all the things that I used to do with the kids who were bullied. As a counsellor, I would work on their body language, I would work on their eye contact, and a lot of things they could learn to be safe. So this book is a collection of those things written away in a way that as each topic is covered, then it's got exercises that they can practice with a friend or with their parents or whatever else in a safe place. All right, so it's not easy for kids to go out and say, try this out there. All right, if they practice it in a safe place, how to use their voice. There's no use saying stop, because it's not going to work. But if you say stop, that's the sort of thing there. And today I've got some good news about this particular book, in that I've been trying to contact distributors who can get it into bookshops. And for those who are trying to promote their own books would understand that is not an easy thing to do. The bookshops have their own suppliers and the suppliers have their own publishers and to get into it. Well, I did get an email back today from one of these book suppliers to say, we'd like to have a look at your book. Now, I don't know if that's going to come to anything, but hopefully in one of those stores they provide books to his Dymocks. So it would be good to get something into that. Okay, I heard a bell, which gives me 30 seconds to tell you I also wrote a book about coaching netball. Years ago, my daughters used to play netball, which I knew nothing about. It was a stupid game. They shoot for goal, they miss it, so they give the ball back so they can have another shot, those sort of things. But I studied the rules, and I'm a bit of a strategist. And over years, I became a coach, and I worked on team strategies, and good night.
No. I'll tell a joke here. Your description of netball is like watching Collingwood right now.
I don't give the ball back.
Have a shot, miss, get it back, do it all over again. Thank you. Well done on the interest from the distributor. Let me go through this. Hey, Diane, are you on this list? Are you meant to be on this list? No? Okay. You sure? All right. You know you got copies here. I left my work at home. That's what they say in year 9. I left it at home. The dog ate it.
I haven't been home, so.
Elizabeth, story, memories, teenage years. Where is Elizabeth? Everyone please welcome Elizabeth.
Hi everybody. This is not my story, this is somebody else's, but she's a neighbour of mine. She's nearly 80, and I just thought it was worthwhile talking about. So I'll just read it out as she's written it when she produced it just for somebody else in another venue. But I just thought it was such a good story, so I'm cheating a bit. But anyway, I'll start with memories of 2 unforgettable and amazing teenage years. In 1962, I was 16 years old and already a dreadful worry to Mum and Dad. Wearing the teenage uniform of the time, all black, leggings and black sloppy Joe, I would head off with according to my mother, a totally unsuitable boy on his motorbike, and we would hurtle through the Mersey, this is in the UK, we would hurtle through the Mersey Tunnel to Matthew Street in the Pool and to the place where we all knew the happening, the Cavern. We would meet our friends, queue in the cold, pay our 2 and 6 entry fee and descend 2 flights of slippery stairs into the dark, dank and very wet basement of the Cavern. No one really knew if the water sliding down the walls was water dripping from the floors above or the sweat of all the bodies cramped in the middle of the arch of the club, also known as the stage area. We would drop off our coats and pick up a Coca-Cola in a glass bottle from the non-alcohol bar and get ready for a night of stomping, singing and riddling around on the spot for hours. There was no room to dance. Everyone was there to be part of the new vibe happening in the Pool. It was not happening anywhere else in the UK, and we all felt excited and a thrill of something quite different to what had been heard before. It was like being privy to a secret known only in Liverpool. There are a lot of new bands in the Liverpool area, including Beatles, but right from the start, there was something different about them. They radiated a magnetic, raw and powerful energy, and every teenage girl in Merseyside was in love with at least one Beatle. They were also different in that they all sang, not just the lead singer. They were also a very tight band with great harmonies. I was mesmerised by George Harrison. He hardly spoke and let his dark, calm eyes do all the talking. And boy, did they do a lot of talking. John Lennon was by far the most outrageous. His language is unrepeatable, but he was funny at times. I thought Paul was cute and Ringo very cool. They all noticeably cleaned themselves up during the later years of 1962, and from black leather jackets and scruffy jeans, they had shorter hair and started wearing white shirts, black waistcoats with black pants. The Liverpool bands were numerous and most played at the Cavern, as well as numerous other clubs in the area. Jerry and the Pacemakers, the Mersey Beats, Billy J. Kramer, the Dakotas, Rory and the Hurricanes, Ringo's previous band. However, we had gone to hear the Beatles, who would come on the thunderous applause and stomping, and would launch into the songs like Some Other Day, Love Me Tender, Till There Was You, What I'd Say, Hey Look, Hey Good Lookin'. At the start of the summer of 1963, John announced we wrote this. We hope you like it. They then
Feedback.
launched.
Catch up with them directly after the official night and talk to them. All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Please don't make mention that I've requested to read early Sandra. Next reader is Sandra Harwood. She's got a poetry, but I can't read what is this, Greek that you've written down? Hawaiian. Okay, I can't read that.
It's one word. I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce it properly, but we'll give it a go.
Everyone, please welcome Sandra.
Hi. I just have a couple of poems to read. My name's Sandra, and I've published 4 books. Can you hear me? Is that okay? Cool. I've published 4 books. So this was my first one. It's a bit of a self-help book. After I lost a baby, a lot of people who've been here a long time, I read, heaps of my husband's friends gave him books to read. I'm not sure that he read any of them, but I read them all. And I got through it all. And so this is really an honouring of all the books that got me through and, got me sort of, I suppose, healed. And the second half is sort of the skills I wish my parents did have, which back then they didn't. So, so the dad in the book sort of comes in and helps them and says that he wanted to help them make new choices. He spoke calmly, soothing the pain in their voices. Each moment is new for me and for you. The past is over. The future, who knows? Let's be kind in this moment and help new paths grow. So he helps them sort of listen to each other, and they come up together with a new plan, which I cheated because it was actually one of my grade 1 students in 2005 having a conversation and talking about conflicts, and I told them about a conflict I had with my sister, and one of the students put up her hand and said, Mrs. Harwood, why don't you try this? Why didn't you try this? And I said, well, where were you when I was 7 years old? Only 7 at the time. Next book is Weedy Thoughts, and that's about how to change those poor thoughts in your mind that are really unhelpful into positive thoughts. And then School of Boring, which is all about how to see learning through new eyes. Anyway, just a couple of little poems. At the moment I've been writing little chants so that as you trying to change habits and create better habits and better boundaries for yourself, I've found if you sing them or put them into chants, it helps you to rewire your brain a lot easier and a lot more fun. So this one is called Zen Friends. So Zen just means like finding that inner peace within yourself, which we all have. And usually we try and quieten down the world so we can find our inner peace. But I've found you can actually find your inner peace and then spread it through your body and then just hear the noise and then prioritise the noise. So just reversing it really helps. So Zen Friends. In every moment I am true. Zen friend, I'm here for you. Rest now and breathe with ease. A self-care moment to release. Trust yourself to be in flow. Peace within will help you grow. Ho'oponopono to mothers, fathers, sisters and brothers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. We got a phone call going on? So Sandra, you said about that child that gave you the advice. Where was she when you were 7? Yeah. You didn't realize she wasn't born yet. She couldn't have given you advice back then. Just really wishful thing. Okay. David, you're going to read a story, Eternal Symphonies. Come on up. Everyone please welcome David.
Of the novel I've been writing for 12 years, 13 years. Literally where I ended it last month. So hopefully there's a lot more musical references this time around. So basically where I left it was that Andrea, one of the characters, Andrea, was struggling with talking about her tormented past, and her partner Julian was listening with fervent interest. Do you want to talk about it? Andrea nodded slightly. As good a time as ever, given the circumstance. It's okay. Take all the time you need, Julian replied. Andrea took a deep breath, as if to brace herself, as they walked past Park Avenue and further down toward Minuet Park. I come from a long line of avian musicians, my entire family. My grandfather Harley, my grandmother Rose, on my father's side, were in a band when they were younger called the Black Swallows. And my grandparents on my mother's side, Jack and Diane, were in a folk rock duo. My parents once told me that in the 93rd edition of The City, my grandparents, both sets, arrived on Coda's shores from the Coral Coast within the Great Southern Land, on the same vessel as Sir Christopher, a musician ran. Wait, Sir Christopher, as in the architect of the Symphonic Cathedral? Yeah, and Don Vito, the keeper of the key. Andrea replied. Wow, hold on, his name is Don Vito? No, his name is Vito, but everyone calls him the Don out of respect, as he is the mink who revitalized and reinvented our city's currency. Before Key, I think we were using harmonic credits, and before that, if memory serves, from what I read from a book that my grandmother Rose gave me, songstones. Nice. No doubt there'll be another reinvention at the turn of the centennial. Anyway, where was I? Your parents. Andrea nodded and smiled. Dad was born in year 3 of the 94th edition. Grandpa Harley would have been 30, Grandma Rose 29. Dad had a voice that could melt your heart, a classically trained tenor. My mother was born in year 4. Grandpa Jack would have been, but in truth, I'm nowhere near her talent. All up, there's 40 of us, myself excluded. In my immediate family, though, there's 28 of us, uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, spanning 4 generations. The other 12 are friends of the family, my best friends of my siblings, and my parents. By the maestri. That's one hell of a family. Finally arriving, they cut through the perimeter of the park on the way back to the apartment. Minuet Park was the second of the 2 features of the district, which with pathways paved with musical notes that led to various attractions and performance spaces. At the core of Minuet Park, serving as the beating heart, stood the majestic Songwood Protector, an enormous sacred oak tree, a living testament to the ancient bond between nature and music. The tree's branches reached towards the sky like conductor's arms adorned with sparkling leaves that glistened like notes in the sunlight. Ah, Minuet Park, how I've missed thee, Julian said. Andrea looked over with intrigue. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Was that a genuine play on Jack and Diane, the John Cougar Mellencamp song? You had your chance to go for it. Carly had excused herself for like about 30 seconds. You could have just went for it and tried Hayun. Thank you, David. Jules, I got your name down here. You're eating? Ah, okay. One of the other ones must have put it on there as a joke. Sorry. Steve, you've got something here.
Something.
What is something?
I'm going to give the audience a choice.
A choice. Cool. Steve, I wouldn't trust this lot. Oh, sorry. I wouldn't trust this lot.
Okay, there's two things I can read for you. I've got a spoken word version of it. Zealot? Okay. So I did a post recently about Vatican II, the Second Vatican Council, and I decided to pay Facebook $20 to boost it. And it sort of worked, because I got like 275 reactions, most of them positive, and a lot of comments, and about 2,000 views. But the reactions were interesting. So this is a reaction from Kaylan, who posted a picture of a baby, and it says, "I was not born a sinner, so you can keep your fear-induced religion to yourself." Which is fair enough. I gave that one a like, actually.
Unless you can get me gas for the acetylene. If you'd let me finish, I can fabricate a scanner that might locate geothermal activity. Harmon gently set the batteries to ground before stretching to full height, grabbing Sal by the shirt. Not lifting him off the ground, but reminding him through force that he could. The shirt ripped. Sal had kept that shirt pristine until now. Harmon didn't care. You can't make that scanner without a proper workstation, which needs tools to make, which means I need juice or gas to do it properly. Unless you're going to pump the gas up with a drinking straw or make a lathe out of a pair of fucking tree trunks, let me do my thing and it'll come back around to you. We didn't see Sal for a while after that. He'd chirp out that he was feeling inspired whenever we rapped on the makeshift door. We left trays of packaged rations for him to snatch when he was hungry. Harmon exhausted the batteries he'd taken from Sal's collection.
Thank you, Bo. There's going to be a raffle midway through this. So this gorgeous orange gift pack, which Kev has assembled from orange things from all across Orangeboro or somewhere, I don't know. Has one of these. Don't ask difficult questions. There is an orange scented candle. There's another candle. There's some orange tissue paper. And more candles. Kev, you've gone candle happy. It's not a cheese. It's got a wick in it. Why would cheese have a wick in it? Anyway, so in a couple of acts' time, I'm going to call the raffle. So if you have a ticket, if you pay to get in, you should have a ticket. So I will call it, so get it ready. Usually people win if they're seated next to Richard Trembar. And no one sat next to you today, Richard. They're all afraid of the glass stuff. Who shouted that? Yes, there. Ellen, you've got a story you're reading. It's called First Draft. Is that what it's called? Oh, it is the first draft. Yeah, she came in and she wanted to print it. She goes, "Look, Les, don't tell people it's a 9th draft. I want to sell it as a first draft to sell my genius." So everyone, please welcome Ellen.
Thanks. Yeah, I wouldn't normally put something out into the world that's this raw. I was like editing as I was sitting there, but whatever. I'm just trying to put myself out into the world at every opportunity. So here goes. It begins and ends with a gate. Well, not quite a gate, a boom gate, but it's known as the gate to all who frequent that part of the world. The boom gate is almost always open, and its accompanying small wooden booth is often closed. Give the ranger our booking details. Gently flirting while my mother strains to participate, her nasal voice cutting through. She would aggressively proffer a printed copy of the booking, holding it over my father's stomach instead of passing it to him first. The ranger would check and confirm the booking, give us a weather report, hand over a map, and we'd drive, with a bump over the cattle grate, into the prom. The gate marks the transition from the rest of the world to our family haven, to many families' haven, and before white colonizers, the haven of the Bunwurrung, Bunurong and Gunakonai First Nations people. It's one of those places that holds you. The mountains, a mother's arms. It feels safe despite its wild ferocity. Once through the gate, the landscape shifts immediately and dramatically. One moment you can look out the window and see cows or sheep grazing on freakishly green Gippsland pastures, and the next the brown and grey-green tea trees and brackens screen all. And then the vista opens out and you're met with rising prehistoric mountains, grassy plateaus with darting emus and leaping kangaroos, and then the ocean sparkling. In my memory, it always sparkles. But no, not always. That day, it must have been slate with white-tipped waves and seagulls circling. It must have been obscured behind a veil of rain. Was the weather reflecting our moods or our purpose? What force was blowing that raging wind? But let me rewind. We arrived at the gate, a woman with caramel hair and freckles greeting us brightly. "Hi there!" "Hi," Brian whispered over the hum of our old Subaru engine and the thrum of the rain. "We have a sleeping toddler in the back." "Oh, okay," she almost whispered back, still loud enough to make me glance back at the slumbering child. "We have a cabin booked, he hissed, also pointedly looking back into the warm interior of toddler. "There's been a lot of rain," she said, unnecessarily, handing us an equally unnecessary map. "We're keeping a close watch on the river in case of flooding, but you should be fine." It was only March. It was supposed to be sunny with notes of autumn cool, not this dark, soaking canopy. "It will be wet," she added doubtfully, like we expected to sunbathe. "We have raincoats," Brian murmured. She grinned. Enjoy your stay." We pulled back out into the asphalt, leaving the booth behind in the gloom. Our child, miraculously, slept on. Going around the steep, winding curves of the road, I gripped the car door handle, stomach twisting. The road was puddling in valleys, the wheels spraying the verge, a solid slosh. We drove on, silence between us, thinking that we knew what was coming. After 25 minutes of hills and plains and blanketed views under deepening skies, we rounded a bend and saw a silver expanse of water where there should have been road. It was flooded. That'll do.
Thanks, Ellen, for a first draft. That was really beautifully written. I mean, that runs my ex. She used to say, I'd never put anything so raw and problematic into the world, and yet she had those kids anyway. Ruja! You've written 2 poetry anthologies, you've been published in others, you've got a translation of one of them. Everyone please welcome Ruja.
Hi. I holidayed at Malwala Lake a couple of years ago and I was absolutely mesmerized by it. Not that it was manicured in any way, it was very natural with a lot of trees, But I came home and I wrote this, and I'm glad I did. An eerie and strange, but not frightening sight. Lake Malwala, majestic, ghostly river red gums, stand proudly in the water, holding their posts, attracting maricod and other fish. On the shore, a fisherman patiently waits, holding his fishing rod. The sunrise is a picture to see. Dark grey at the top, then bright orange, changing into yellow, meeting the dark green, treetops across the lake. The water, smooth and calm, reflects the tint of a sunrise. Blue breaks through, giving the water unbelievable charm. Each day is so warm, in the sun, reaching their high, deafening notes reaching. There is a resident drake in our holiday park, as white as a snow, with a bright yellow beak and a sweet, curled tail. It waddles to our cabins every evening, charming us for dinner without fail. Water has this power, whether calm or restless, it says, "Look at me, I am mighty. I am giving, but not forgiving. Without me, there is no living. The Murray River is our empress. She is this region's protectress. Thank you. And just a couple of good news for me. There is 2 books are just about to be sent to me from capital Zagreb, from Croatia. I've started writing short stories. So two short stories have been chosen, are being published, and 2 poems from that publisher. And then another publisher also in Croatian just let me know this morning that she chose 6 of my poems that will be published in this book. So I'll be getting 3 books soon. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ruja. Nothing's wrong with you.
Publishing it in Croatian.
When you pardon?
In Croatian.
Oh, in Croatian.
Oh, well done.
At my age, I should be walking with a stick or I don't know, counting stars.
Why would you walk with a stick? Because you mean you want to hit people?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I don't know what this is. I wish I walked with a stick. Wish I walked with 2 sticks. Shell! And Shell will be reading at our September open mic night. Everyone please welcome Shell.
Hi everyone, I'm Shell. My thing is true stories. I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. Try not to fall asleep. So, as you've just found out, it's my birthday. I am a woman of a certain age. I was born in the 70s and times have changed. So I've just been musing lately about things that I noticed back in the 70s and 80s that still exist today, but they've changed slightly. It's not just observations. So I thought I'd just share my observations. Before I get the first slide on, it's about Lycra. So Lycra was a really big thing in the 70s and 80s, but there was pretty much only one cohort of people who would wear them, and it was people who went and did aerobics, and they were always women. So here's a picture of that. Jane Fonda loved Lycra, but these days things have changed, and we have mammals who wear them. Oh, hang on, no. So men in Lycra, so there's actually an acronym for this. It's a mammal, middle-aged men in Lycra. So yeah, just an observation. Things have changed with Lycra. Earwear, back in the 70s and 80s, the only people wearing any kind of things in their ear were people who had hearing impairments, and this is what they looked like.
Excuse me, just a side note.
Yes.
The person who invented the cochlea
No.
was from Montmorency. Somebody correct me if I'm
Oh,
wrong.
wow.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was Bob Cochlea.
For those who didn't hear that, the person who invented the hearing aid is actually from Montmorency.
Yeah, just a
Yeah, side note trivia.
Yeah.
All right, and these days there are earbuds, so I've walked past so many people in the street thinking that they're talking to me, but they're talking to their phones in their earbuds. I've also, whenever I've been shopping, I've noticed that cars have really changed in terms of their colours. We don't do colours in anymore, but in the 70s and the 80s, we had sinks and bathrooms and definitely cars with lots of different colours. So this is what a car park used to look like in the 70s. It doesn't look like that now. Kind of looks like this. I don't know what's happened to society, but we're all grey and white.
What have you got against silver Toyota?
I have nothing against it. In fact, I've got a gunmetal grey car, but I can't get much else. Music. So I remember having to do this. I had a record player and I had vinyl, and it made that kind of sound as it started and finished at the end, and there was a kind of a romance about that. And now this is how I get my music. Yeah. By the way, I'm not making a judgment about any of this. It's just observations that I thought I'd share.
Turntables are making a comeback.
Sorry?
Turntables are making a comeback.
Yeah, turntables are making a comeback, absolutely. So before I run out of time, I'll just get through the rest of these. Dogs. So I'd play in the street. I was what you call those kids, free range. So I'd be out on my bike all day, and the neighbourhood kids would play, and so would the neighbourhood dogs. So this is what happened with dogs. We'd just play all together. And these days, some of my colleagues actually have doggy daycare. I need to go faster. Prams. Only women pushed prams. And now men get out with their joggers and they jog with their prams. Moving on. Trains. You had everyone with their newspapers, yeah? And now everyone's on their devices. Going into the office, I work in an office, and there'd be somebody who'd actually greet you. I kid you not. This is actually how we say good morning to each other on Teams, and we all say good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey Richard, have you ever actually won the raffle, or was it just people sitting next to you? One. Well then, it was a jackpot. Who said that? Was that you? What number are you? C53. You wouldn't believe it. No, it's C42. Yep. Well, you know what? And while you're up, you bring your stuff to read also.
Okay. Again, it's next to me. I'm 41.
Oh, okay. Sorry, David?
Andrew.
Sorry? Andrew. Sorry, I said David. You're David. Everyone please welcome Andrew.
That's right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about a stroke. It's the beginning of a stroke, or beginning in what became my stroke. So, it was the 21st of October 2020. It felt more like the 20th, as the 21st would always be the day I woke up. I had taken the week off work and was feeling pretty good, although I couldn't get to sleep. But that was fairly normal for me, given I was on holidays and given the lockdown was in place. I had been out the previous Sunday for a cycle with my son as normal. I had taken a break that week from walking I used to do every other day, and the weights and stretches which I did on alternate days. I would say I got to bed around 1 or 2 a.m., which again is pretty normal for me on holidays with nothing special to do the following day. I was sleeping in my son's bed as he wanted to sleep with his mum, so they were all settled and sleeping. As I was lying there in my son's bed, I was feeling quite relaxed, but not tired. I listened to a couple of podcasts, but was still awake when they finished. And now it was almost 4 a.m. Many things went through my brain while I was in bed, as they often would when I was trying to go to sleep. One of the thoughts I had, which I had once or twice over the years, was that if I had a stroke, I would go to the doctor and be back to normal within 2 or 3 days. I don't know exactly what I did between 4 and about 5:30. I must have given up on sleeping. I had done this now and then, especially in university, although that was fully going from top to bottom, and 20 or 30, maybe more rows. The difference in my matrix was unlike the black background, it was pinkish red and the characters were black and green. The characters were not like letters and numbers in English, but some sort of alphabet with symbols like Y's on their side, or lambada from science class, and many other characters or symbols which I just can't remember. The symbols, although they were different, were very comforting and weren't off-putting at all. It was like I knew what they meant, and it said, "It's okay, everything will be fine." I could only see it in my left eye, or left side of vision, and this was seemingly resetting my right arm and leg. It seemed to go on forever, but it was just a few seconds. When I tried to stand, my right limbs wouldn't work the way I wanted them to, and so I fell and caught my head on the wood of the bed. I decided it would be better to get my...
Thank you, Andrew. So that's not the completion of the story, obviously. So you're going to come back next month and...
Yeah. Well, I won't be back next month, but I'll be back the month after.
What's happening next month?
I'm going to Japan.
So Japan's more important than us. How much did you pay for a ticket to Japan?
Well, I don't know. For two of them, it was 2,200 or something.
You know, we charge you only $5.
Yeah.
And you win cheese platters. Wow.
Next time.
This is really selfish for you. Okay? Just someone's got to say it. No one else to say it. Have a great time in Japan. Carly, who's on the bell while you're here? Does anyone want to volunteer to be on the bell while Carly's here? Yeah. There's some hands going up. She's actually bringing it over. Jeff, do you want it? Do you want the bell? There's all these fellow interns who are cowering in terror behind her. Hi, and that's like about 3 minutes so far, isn't it? Everyone, please welcome. So Carly interned here. She's a talented writer, editor, and illustrator. She's going to show you some of her illustrations. Please welcome Carly.
Hi everyone. So a couple of months back, more like maybe a year or so, I mentioned working on a comic, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm still continuing it. So currently I have published 4 chapters on a platform called Webtoon. So for those who don't know, it's basically like anyone can publish a comic that they want, and it's sort of like in a scrolling sort of format. So just imagine you were scrolling through an article, but instead it is panels of comics, illustrations, text bubbles. So it's quite revolutionary. And I think now they're starting to try and get into like animated versions, and it's getting quite scary, honestly. But yeah, so I have published those 4 chapters. So about 30 sort of individual sort of illustrations and upload, 14 uploads, about 420 individual illustrations that I have done, and counting. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, it's going quite well. I'm gaining some followers, getting a little bit of attention, comments, all sorts, so it's really lovely. I've noticed that it's mostly American readers, so my comic is actually an Australian story, so a lot of them don't actually understand sometimes different sayings. So like I remember for one of the things I had someone say, "Oh, I'm just going to his," and for us that's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to his place," but they're like, "Oh, is there a missing word there?" Like, and it's just like having to explain, "Oh no, like if it was her, like I'm going to hers," like. So a lot of them just like you have to sort of put in like little caveats, just like this is what it means. I'm not illiterate, I promise. Yes, so I just wanted to show you a couple of my favourite panels so far. I could have put it into a PowerPoint and put it up there, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to put it on my iPad. So bear with me. So this is one of my most favourite ones at the moment, mainly for this in the background. A very, very small section that I very much love. And it's in comparison, it's so small, but I just love that little bit in the background there. This is one I did this morning. You might recognise it as the Yarra River. I mean, it's blue, but yeah. I mean, like I could technically put it under the fantasy genre after that. So this is another one that I really quite liked. I just like the posing of the character, sort of falling through the sky. Yeah, just over time, I'm just slowly getting better, and I'm just, for example, this is one of the most, not one of the most, sorry, this is one of the, my mind's gone blank, I'm sorry. This is one of the first couple chapters, so I just feel like I've just gotten a little bit better. Yeah, that's all I have, I'm sorry.
Sorry? What's its name if you want to look it up?
Soundtrack, it's on Webtoon.
Soundtrack, okay.
Yeah.
And Carly is available as an illustrator if you need illustrations for anything that you're doing. Megan, I just realised your name's not on the list. Is it meant to be on the list? Okay. Well, sorry? Not tonight, okay. Well, let's just call Simon up then. Everyone please welcome Simon. Story, An Old Memory.
Thanks, Les. Evening, everyone. This one is an old memory of mine. I have done it in third person though, so he is me. He stands behind the mosaic number 4 tiled into the pool coping. His heart beats furiously. Will he make it? On your mark. It isn't the start that worries him, although diving into 1 metre deep water has its perils. It's the path of the wavy black line that plunges to depths over his head that concerns him. 30 metres in, at the point that fatigue starts to set in, there is no turning back, only down. He has never, in his life, completed a 50-metre freestyle swim. The pressure of all the eyes watching him should get him to the end. At least that's what he tells himself. Who would vote for him in the House Captain elections if he didn't make it? Sporting leaders are supposed to be good at sport, if not the best, aren't they? Bang! He launches horizontally and his hands barely touch the surface before the wet chill slaps and swallows him and his belly is raw. The stinging will fade, but for now he wears it like an inflatable vest. His feet kick and propel him forward, but his arms are everywhere. He takes a breath and tastes the chlorine. There should be enough to compensate for all the teenage butts in the water today. His vision is like a stop-motion film of the people cheering alongside the pool, their expressions static but changing frame by frame and breath by breath. The black line is his friend, always there, just out of reach, and guiding him onwards like an omnipresent force or a god. His ears are smashed by screams and chants in a soundtrack to his film, and God speaks in gurgles and splashes. Teenage butt water comes out of his nose and his eyes sting. But still he pushes on. He has no idea how far ahead the other swimmers are, but it doesn't matter. This is not about winning, at least not the race. There is so much more at stake for him. Fail and he could set himself up for a lifetime of near enough is good enough. But succeed, and who knows? His legs tire and his arms flail. The black line begins to sink, and his film is stuck on the same character, ranting and raving like a semaphore signaller. He wonders what they are saying. Is he done? Ahead he glimpses his teammates standing alone at the end of the pool, with arms dangling and occasional jazz.
Thank you, Simon. Olivia. Poetry Cinnamon. Everyone please welcome Olivia.
Brothers. It's mine, in unison, the sibling tango, turns taken, handfuls of hair, toing and froing. They visit each other like magnets, in a womb of ideas, the stem, roots seeking, but life apart, building one castle, tearing at the sea, jumping with gusto in each other's footsteps. I had a bit of a moment with somebody very young in Woolworths. The young bloke was putting some butter on the shelf, I think, next to the eggs, except there were no eggs. There was only one carton left. It was hanging there on an angle, sort of a bit like on a precipice on the edge. I opened it and there was about 5 eggs out of the dozen cracked. We looked across each other, just had this moment. And I said, "What about this one?" And he said, "Oh, I guess you could ask. No harm, I guess you could buy it." Yeah. And that sort of spurred this one on. Aldi after the rate cut announcement. It's Tuesday. I'm on the edge. I stand between thick yellow banana hands and a thin zip wallet. My grandma, how can she carve one potato to share slices like air between brothers, between war? Those little babies, thin as sheets. It's pale, isn't it, this human justice? I'm outside, but I'm not outside like him.
Thank you, Olivia. Marie Lukic. Marie, are you going to come up? What are you going to do? What are you going to perform?
I'm doing an article about women.
Sorry, an article.
About women.
Oh, women.
Yes.
That requires more than an article.
Here it is. So it's about the revolution that we had in the 70s, but it's from my point of view. So there's a little bit of trivia. So I have just returned from a wonderful stroll along the luxurious lanes of lovely estates where paddocks of ponies graze. What's more, I enjoyed it extremely because of one particularly important aspect. Guess what? I have tracky dacks with long zip-up pockets. They even have a smaller key pocket within the longer pocket. The true revolution for women is to do with empowerment. Seriously, is there anything worse than leaving keys and mobiles at home due to lack of pockets? Anything can go wrong. So you say, just lug a handbag or have a sack around. Who wants to carry a bag out bushwalking or even urban strolling? More importantly, who wants to ask other halves fully equipped with pockets in pants and jackets to lug our personal possessions around? The pocket revolution is a fabulous opportunity for fashionistas to dig up designs with an eye-catching addition to our wardrobes. Now you may say, just go online or into a shopping centre and find some such convenient creations. Easier said than done. I spent an hour online looking for tracky dacks to replace my favourites with a long side mobile and key-fitting pockets and tragically found none at all. The central issue is that no fashion designer wants the elegance of the pant compromised, or so I was once informed. So what is the solution? Skip forward to the new generation and each of us may wear clothes designed to naturally enable...
That's why I wear them. Can never have enough pockets. And you've got a poem, A Dog's Echo Voice. Where am I looking? Is this from your published book?
No, it's not.
Is this from a new book?
No, it's from an anthology.
Is it from an anthology that you contributed to?
No, it's not.
Are you actually Anne?
Would you like me to sit back down?
I don't know. Should we have a vote?
No.
Everyone please welcome Anne.
And yay to the pockets, because I hate carrying a handbag, so I just can't do it. Mine's a little bit of an update too. So I recently published Mackie, which is a children's book about my Kelpie dog, and it's sort of featured around Eltham, which is really, really special. So this week's been a bit of a full circle moment for me because I've had the opportunity to do book week readings at a lot of the kindergartens that I taught at. So that's really super cool. And next week, I am going to the primary school that I went to when I was a kid. And I must have dropped, oh, here it is. Sacred Heart Primary School in Diamond Creek. And this is me when I was in grade 2. I'm happy to pass it round. And I... so child of the... that I would do without getting through. So thank you to Les and Kev. Because this is certainly something that I would never have imagined. That little person would have died at the very thought. But I wanted to share a little bit of an update about Mackie. For those of you that may have been aware of this, on Landline on the 20th of July, there was a really fantastic story about Kelpies for Kids, and it's a WA charity that has just commenced with a woman whose child was quite ill in country Perth, who started a charity to raise funds for the Royal Perth Hospital. And it's about rural sick kids that travel into Perth Central for treatment, and they miss their Kelpie working dogs. So you can imagine my ears pricked up. And it's a charity that aims to use Kelpies, training Kelpies as working dogs while these young children are having treatment, undergoing oncology, chemo, all sorts of things. They get allocated a working dog for the time that they're undergoing treatment, and then those dogs are auctioned off to raise money for the Royal Perth Hospital. So Kev will probably attest to this, me being me, reached out to the charity. So Mackie is going to be partnering with Kelpies for Kids over the coming months. I'm going to be attending the Perth Royal Show, and Mackie's going to be coming in tow, and we're going to set up a bit of a charity that will donate portions of the sales of Mackie to go to the Kelpies for Kids charity, which is really, really cool. Which is something that, yeah, quite cool. And I think, takes a dog or a pet person to really understand what they do mean for us. And my dogs are certainly that for me. I'm going through a little bit of a bumpy patch at the moment, so they are more than ever something that's really, really important to me. But what I'm reading tonight is an anthology. When my son was in Year 12, he was doing a lot of art work, and he was asked to contribute some artwork to this anthology, which is schools all across Victoria that write poems, contribute artwork, and hence the anthology was born. But this is a poem about a dog. It was written by a Year 8 student, and she was selected to read this poem. And it's just one that really touched me, and I wanted to share it with you. I hope I can get through it. It's pretty short, but it has a bit of a punch, so bear with me. A Dog's Echoed Voice, written by Grace, Year 8 student of Star of the Sea College. 1 bark for the sun rising, 2 for the noisy birds, 3 for the toy I pulled apart, and 4 the human words. 5 barks for the possum, 6 reminding to be fed, 7 to get attention, and 8 getting humans out of bed. 9 barks for the empty bowl of water, and 10 for the run around town. 11 for getting that meal, and 12 for the sun going down. Then my human never able to forget, in love with each other at first sight, leaving only with one last pet.
Thanks, Sam. It's funny, as you're talking about dogs and their companionship, Oscar just wandered down here for the first time tonight. Like he knew he was coming on cue. Jeff, you're continuing Silky Beach? Everyone please welcome Jeff.
Previously, we've been on a winter beach, Elizabeth Island in Western Port Bay, and introduced Casper. Tonight, I'm introducing the second protagonist, Hamish. A chill was seeping into his old arse, and Hamish was starting to regret having sat down in the damp sand. Despite wearing saggy old Speedos under his pants, he was starting to fret about having wet jeans. Hamish was wondering if it was too late to back out. He never thought of himself as a quitter. He preferred to think of himself as dependable. A woman had once said to him, "Hamish, some people are butterflies, but I feel you're more of a brick," which of course he'd taken as a compliment. He was reasonably fit for 62 years of age, average height, carrying just a little extra weight, a white head of hair and scruffy beard that showed up extra bright against his weathered, some would say eroded, face. Hamish felt an upwelling of recalcitrance and discreetly cast around for an escape route, attention to the setting sun. He'd always loved the sea, but never much liked swimming, even in summer. Hamish had a shack on nearby French Island, which had been home for the last 3 years, since his wife Wendy had died. Wendy had loved swimming. Hamish may never have swum if not for his love for Wendy and her insistence that she join him. He noticed Jan Wilson glance in his direction and gave her a wink of assurance. Jan had been a close older friend of Wendy's. Like Wendy, she was a great one for water, even in winter, and despite her 70-odd years, she was fashionably dressed in the latest thermal activewear. She gave him a sympathetic smile. Jesus, do I look that pathetic? He worried. Although Hamish lived on French Island, he worked 4 days each week for Megan and Claire at Alexander's farm. He knew both communities, but he'd known the Frenchies longer and was aware they had mostly come to the Solstice Festival out of curiosity. He also knew Jan was wanting to check on the well-being of the kids, even though he'd told her everything seemed good. Elizabeth Island was small, its western and northern sides nestled into the much larger French island. It was just big enough for the farm and a patch of bush at the northern end, where banksias and she-oaks transitioned to salty mangroves and mudflats. The only means of moving between the islands was by boat. Although the channel was narrow enough, swimming between the islands was suicidal. Western Port Bay had an average tidal range of 3 metres, and the currents that ran in the ebb and flood through the narrows were vicious. Hamish glanced to the west, where the sun was creating something special, edging the fairy floss clouds in gilt. He rubbed his rough hand across his bristly chin, harder with each blow.
Thanks, Jeff. Some really striking imagery there. How have you found coming here reading on a regular basis? So when's the book coming out?
I don't know. It's about, we're in the proofreading up to about a third of the way.
Okay, cool.
4 chapters a book. Yeah.
All right, cool. I've only got a couple readers left. Crystal. Hi, how you doing? I'm not calling you, I'm just saying how you doing. Crystal is our poetry editor. She just won a major poetry award. And the name of that award, Crystal, is?
June Shenfield National Poetry Prize.
And you beat out how many people?
Pardon?
How many people did you crush?
They didn't say, but it was
Didn't say.
a few.
Yeah.
It was the most applicants they've ever had.
The most. And you sent me that happy text. I smashed these puny bastards. No, wait, I sent that to you. Everyone please welcome Crystal.
Hi. This is called Thanatology, a love poem. Love is cowardice. I wasn't afraid of dying until I started sleeping over. It was easier before. Waking late, smoking whatever was left in the pack, the burn gripping my lungs, squeezing my sternum, a kind comfort, like arriving at the edge of nothing. But now every cigarette feels like a wager. I count them. Odds, evens, as if time might cut me a deal for rationing my ruin with reverence. My chest tightens when I imagine not being here, to laugh at the way you argue with the cat, or how you forget to leave the porch light on. The flame stings my fingers when I ask, "Are you okay?" A soft eulogy for the nights you think I miss. The stained pages, the hum of barfly hymns, the noise that rises in my head after dark. Some nights I rehearse our exits like superstition, quiet, clean, before the milk sours, before you notice the silence and decide to call it love. Love won't save me, and I know peace can't fix it, but they are here, a mercy I haven't quite earned, and they just make dying feel like more of an inconvenience. Thank you. He's not really my stepfather, but the English language does not have beautiful words for untranslatable details. Sunlight filtering through trees, the vague restlessness of longing, or a man who dated your mother when you were 17 and now buys you pancakes on a Tuesday. We take our fill on the in-between, neither stranger nor kin, our comfortable silence dog-eared by the clink of forks to plate, between the hum of conversation from tables in our orbit. Our words are nothings. Reality TV, his lawnmower, his need to buy bread for the birds. But between the words, something hangs, a quiet...
Thank you, Crystal. You have a collection coming out. One day. You call that first poem depressing. I call it Tuesday. Our last reader, unless I'm not mistaken. Is there anyone else? I'm going to call Richard up. Is there anyone whose name's not here? Anyone? Jules, you said you wanted to sing the Beatles song. Can you please crawl out your window? No? No? Okay. So everyone please welcome Richard Trembar.
Crystal, but anyway, I guess we'll survive. I was going to do two poems this evening. One is fairly old and one is fairly new, but I wrote both of them, which is fairly unusual in itself. The first one was written about 40 years ago. And it's about a tree in a paddock just south of Launceston in Tasmania. On a hill beside the main Hobart Road, 20 k's south of Launceston, stands a lone tree. It was on this tree that during the days when Tasmania was a penal colony in the early 1800s, the bodies of executed criminals were hung as a deterrent to passers-by. If that didn't deter you, well, nothing would. The tree on Gibbet Hill. Beneath your dying splintered boughs, midst rocks the horses graze. Your broken withered limbs give not a hint of earlier days. Days when you bore your dreadful fruit, when human life you craved, when haunted, hell-bound sinners you denied the very grave. The days when you defiant stood a warning to the land of mankind's inhumanity and death's swift icy hand. The ghost of one such tortured soul, they say, lurks with you still, and curses those who scorn the dead who hung on Gibbet Hill. But time is past, men's ways are changed, and your dread days are o'er. You stand a broken monument to times that are no more. Perhaps when your time comes and you return unto the earth, your passing will release the souls and grant them second birth. The highwayman, the murderer, the fool, the thief, the cheat, who rotted on your boughs, denied the crimson sinner's crimson sheet, denied in death the dignity of but a pauper's hole. Perhaps your death at last will grant repose unto his soul. And you will be a legend, voiceless, lingering in the night, with no man left to tell your tale, and naught to mark your sight. The land shall know tranquility, the lost soul's voice be still, as horses yet unborn graze midst the rocks on Gibbet Hill. That was written about 40 years ago. This one was written about 40 days ago. It's called Dreams. Now that you're gone, I cannot help but dream of what we would have done had it been otherwise. For otherwise is what is left of all our cherished dreams, unlived and gone, and ne'er to be replaced, to occupy instead our hallowed time as merely dreams of days which never came to pass, of times unlived which yet remain as plans of things we did not do, which being left undone turn sweetness into gall. I still cannot believe you are not there to share our plans and dreams, remembered and yet unfulfilled. Runs on the beach and picnics midst the fallen boughs beside the restful creek, to listen to the silence as it overtook our lives and left us only memories of the joy that once we shared. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. That was beautiful. The next open mic night in September is the 17th of the 9th. So it's always the third Wednesday of the month. So in September it's the 17th. Don't feel you have to go straight away. There's refreshments. There's Shell's cake. I'm sure Shell would love it if you go bother her and say, I want to sign your card. She'd be overjoyed if that happens. And if you wished her a happy birthday, she's just grimacing as I'm saying all this. Does anyone have any announcements before we sign off for the night? Well, Carly just showed me that a book she's illustrated has just gone live and has been published. So congratulations, Carly, another book. So thank you everyone for attending. Don't feel you have to rush off. We'll see you next month. It's August. I made a little note. It looks like we've never got the timing back.